Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and this week we're going to do a little more work on the plasma cutter table in preparation for purchasing and installing some 80/20 rails on it. And hopefully once we get up to that point, we'll be able to start making a little more progress. I still haven't made my mind up yet whether to use ball screws or timing belts to move things around, and I'm not decided 100% on what wheels to use, whether to use metal wheels with bearings, you know, the ones you usually see on the website selling that stuff, or to use plastic wheels with, you know, with bearings. If you guys have got a suggestion, go ahead and make it. If you know exactly where to get the most wonderful wheels in the world for a low price, let me know, you know. But that's something that I've got to figure out yet before I even start to buy those particular parts. I've got an awful lot of the rest of the stuff, maybe most of everything I need. There is one other thing. I've here lately been watching a lot of new channels, and one of them is Lehto's Law. You spell that L-E-H-T-O. The man is an attorney. He does lemon law cases, you know, and consumer cases with automobiles and things, and he's really interesting. So maybe you guys ought to run over to his channel and take a little look at it. I think you'd find it, you know, entertaining. I sure do. And I can tell you that I don't watch all machine shop channels, although I'm mostly subscribed to machine shop type channels. I find a lot of stuff like the History Guy and, you know, things like that, and Lehto's Law and, you know, others like that are really interesting. And thinking about all that, you know, in spite of themselves, YouTube's got a lot of interesting channels, and I don't really see what the heck we need a TV for, you know. There's nothing but drivel on television, and there's actually things of substance on these videos from these creators. And it's a lot more entertaining, and of course real life is definitely always more entertaining than fiction, and stranger too. Alright, and I wrote myself a note this week because I always come in here and I forget what I was going to say. So far this week I've declined to make comments on anybody's video that I've watched. I'm doing that because sometimes I say the wrong things to get in trouble and people resent it and stuff. So I'm trying to keep my mouth shut. How's that? And I've noticed another thing. A lot of videos these days start with 2 ads at the front, and then maybe they'll have 2 or 3 in the middle. I remember the first time I came to one that had an ad in the middle, I just clicked off and went to someplace else because I thought the video was over. I did that 2 or 3 times, you know, thinking the video was over. But I can tell you, I will watch a 15-second ad for practically anybody, but not 2 of them, and you know, it's just not going to work out. If the ad's longer than 15 seconds, I don't watch it, even if I really like the channel, you know. And the last time around of doing the loose ends, I was talking about my Arduino didn't have enough horsepower for the job I've got it on, and that's true. And I think that in the future I need to start buying the Raspberry Pi and start looking into that, although they make some Arduinos that have more horsepower. I'm just not sure that I'll have to figure out which one of them's got the fastest CPU and buy that, because that's the only thing to do. It's a great idea, computer on a chip, you know, and dirt cheap, but sometimes things I get into, I need more horsepower. The light winter, here we are, we come all the way to Thursday again, and it's not Thursday today, but it's closed in on it, and so far the winter hadn't spoken up yet. Let me know where he's at or where to send it. So it looks like come Thursday afternoon I may delete that winter video and go to our backup winter, make a video and inviting him to claim the lights. And if I do a week of that and nobody takes it, well, I'm going to just give up, you know, because I went into some of this when I was giving away all the freebies I got from Harbor Freight. That after a while, it seems like I come to a spot where I'd give something away and nobody'd ever claim it. I would be a month behind on people claiming stuff, you know. I don't need to do that. It's not the way to do things. All right, I've talked enough. Let's go ahead and get into seeing how much we can do to get this little project ready for some 80-20 rails. And of course, at that time, more decisions to make. Why is that hanging in the air? Absolutely good question. That's redneck engineering at its finest. I lifted it up where I could sort of hold it level and see how long the legs would be at that height, because I figured that's about where it's comfortable to lift a heavy piece of metal. And so I'm going to make the legs 2 feet long, which means they'll actually be 2.5 feet, you know, higher than that. But that's what we're going to do. It seems like there's always a disappointing fact when you start messing with this. And today's disappointing fact is that only one of these pieces is up to 4 feet in length. The others are about 1/16 short. So I'll have to cut on the 1/16 short side of the line to get the 2 2-footers. But we'll do it. I've got it marked with my Randy Richards scribe, and we're about to get after it. Air protection. Yeah, they're pretty much the same size, so there's 2. Here comes another 2. That's enough video of that. And it's not really important if they're a 1/16 inch difference in length or something, because I got to put a little adjusting bolt in the bottom of each one of them anyway, so I got to cut off a little square for welding to the bottom. I'll mark the little pieces one at a time. After I've cut one, I'll measure the next one, because I'm not sure how much to allow for the blade. I'll just cut them off one at a time with my Randy Richards scribe, mark them. Well, I've got all the little chips cut off and center drilled, and starting to drill and tap them. And as usual, I'm going to attempt to partially power tap this thing. I know it won't be that way all the way, but it'll make a start that way. Nope, it's not tap oil, it's just regular old motor oil. It'll do. Look at that. Almost went all the way in. Pretty good. Now all I got to do is get a tap handle and finish that off and do it 3 more times, and these guys will be ready for welding on the bottom of the legs. Alright, so this is the model that I used to do the other stuff. I'm going to use him to make sure I line things up right. I'll mark both sides, not just one. I'll roll it over and do the other side. And that ought to make it where I can find it with the drill press and finish it quick. Okay, I think that'll work. There's no use you watching me drill 4 holes. Okay, so the holes are located on both sides. They should match up just fine. I'm going to do that to all 4 of the legs, and then I'll drill them. And we'll fit them over there. Sorry about knocking your head off. We'll set them over there, fit them on the table and see what it looks like, kind of. Alright, there we are. 2 bolts in there. The bottom one comes out, so the legs will fold up underneath the table. And they're all facing in a way where they'll all fold a different direction. And there was some concern that the top hole being real near to the top of the leg would make it weaker, but all the weight's pushing downwards on the hole where it's 2 foot to the next edge, you know. So I don't think how close the top hole being to the edge is going to make any difference at all. Alright, now I'll fold the legs up and let you have a look at it like that. I just did this for demonstration. Alright, now then, take a look at this. See how the legs folded up under it? You turn it around. This leg's folded this way. This leg's folded that way. This leg's folded up there. And so on, right on around it. Now I had envisioned a toggle pin, toggle bolt, whatever you want to call it, that goes in the bottom hole. And I may still find some, or I may make some. But it's a little pin that goes through, and then it has a hinged piece in it that'll fall over and cause a T shape like that, and it won't back out. But when you take it out, you just line that little piece up and pull it out. I think probably the most of you have seen that. Okay, so let's crank it up just the heck of it. That's up as far as it's going to go, which is about even with that 2x6 there. It goes across the waist, beam across. Now I'm going to move you up here a little bit, and you see the eye bolts up there. Let me see if I can zoom it up. I think if I zoom it like this, you can see the eye bolts that are up there. And the reason for those is because I want to chain the thing up. Telephone. Alright, I'm going to try to show you why I have eye bolts up there as well as the hoist. And it's for reliability. Maybe this will do as it did last time I picked something up, maybe it won't. I think you can see it heads back down before the brake catches, and the horse I got up here is a stronger one than this one, but it's still from the same company, so I'm not going to trust it to hold the thing in a static position up there. I'm going to I'm going to have belt and suspenders. I'm going to put chains on some eye bolts on the thing, and then whether the hoist holds or not, it won't come down. Now, I'm not going to weld the bottoms on those legs tonight, and I'm not going to, in fact, I'm not going to do anything else tonight. I may not even do anything else on this particular video, but now you can see where I'm heading and the why. And the when will be when I get money. Alright, so I've got chains on it up there hooked on, chains on this other side, and the hoist. So it's not going to come down and crush my taco. I wouldn't like that. And as things go along, I will add to the chains. I got more chain over here, and the boys down at Home Depot have several rolls of this stuff on hand if I need more. Look at that. Isn't that just a beautiful color? I really like that. I would have had a pickup truck that color, but the boss lady likes red. Oh well, I guess that's the way it goes. I think that's great though. That's nice and yellow. It won't be dry until tomorrow. Then I'll put it back together, and the next step will be to get some 80/20 and add to it. Alright, things are put back together, and I'll crank it up a little bit. And as you can see, the levelers are installed on all the legs, and we are really and truly ready to put the 80/20 material on there. That'll be probably a week's worth of work all by itself once I've got it, but I think I've got it pretty well set up now to where it'll hang from the ceiling, and I can chain it up there on the ceiling and it'll stay, you know, whether the horse wants to let go or not. Alright, that's it for this week. Maybe there's a joke, maybe not, don't know. Well, it seems like down there near where Bubba lived, there was this big old bridge out on the highway, and one day this bunch of bikers, you know, Hells Angels types, was riding along there, and they saw a big crowd standing around where this gal was fixing to jump off the bridge. So they pulled up and stopped, and the head guy, you know, old George, Big George, he wanted the opportunity to be a hero and all that, so he walked over there and looked at the gal standing on the rail, and he didn't want to sound like he was sensitive or nothing, but, you know, he didn't want to miss the chance to be a hero too. So Esther, he says, hey, honey, how about give me one last kiss before you jump off the bridge? And so she leaned back over there, and she gave him a long, lingering kiss, and that was followed up by an even better kiss, you know, totally breathless there. And when George got through, the onlookers give him a thumbs up, his biker buddies give him a thumbs up, and even the state trooper gave him a thumbs up. And George says, well, he says, look here, Sugar Britches, he says, that's the best kiss I ever had. He says, seems to me like you know, you'd be famous if you'd ride with me, you know. And he says, by the way, he says, just why are you jumping off of this bridge? She says, well, she says, it's only count on my parents don't like me dressing up like a girl. Now, onlookers are divided 50-50 about what happened next. It's kind of a mystery because they don't know, they're undecided whether she was pushed or jumped. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.